Hi, I'm astrologer and life coach Penny Dix. Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to my in-depth look at all the astrological cosmic energies that you need to know to help you go through and make your positive intentions for the new moon in Cancer, which is happening on the 28th and the 29th of June, depending on what part of the planet you are living in. So, Cancer. Cancer, as we know, is a very emotive sign. It's a sign of feeling. It's a sign of mothering and nurturing. So will our emotions be running high around the energy of this new moon? Well, I think they may well be. But is this going to be a good thing or a bad thing? Well, let's have a look a little bit deeper at this new moon energy, because there is some quite interesting angles that the various planets are making. And I'm going to start with Jupiter, my big boy Jupiter, our planet of luck, opportunity, of abundance. Now, Jupiter expands everything he touches. Jupiter is still in Aries, and Jupiter is making a hard square to this new moon in Cancer. So, is this good or bad? Well, because it's expanding what is a challenging angle, it means that our emotions might get quite fired up. We might feel very passionately about projects that we want to launch, and frustrated at anything that might be getting in that way or holding us back. And it's interesting because we've got my other outer big boy, Saturn, our planet of contraction, restriction, of just limitation. But Saturn, who's retrograde at the moment in Aquarius, is making a really good harmonious trine. That's a helpful angle to Mercury, our planet of communication, who's in the sign he rules, Gemini. So that is super helpful. Retrograde Pluto in Capricorn is still making this hard square to our little dwarf planet, Eris, and consequently to transiting Mars in Aries, Mars that rules Aries, Mars that is our god of war, of energy, of action, of physicality. And so we've got this whole mix of energies around this new moon. And the other thing that's really interesting is on the 28th, and in some parts of the world the new moon happens on the 28th, Neptune, yet another of the big boys, our planet of illusion, of mystery, of sometimes deception, of secrets, also of viruses, poisons, anything that is a little bit clandestine. Neptune goes retrograde in Pisces. So that is going to have an effect as well. The other thing about my big boy Jupiter is that Jupiter is also conjunct Chiron, our asteroid that is known as the wounded healer in Aries. So Jupiter is trying to expand our healing energies so that we can pour this Cancerian nurturing, healing, loving energy into the world. So it is a new moon about people and feelings. And I think some of us might be getting hot under the collar about what we think is true as opposed to what is true, as opposed to what we're being told is true. But the retrograde Saturn is soothing the way with his harmonious link to Mercury. And that advises us to slow down, to take our time before we speak, and also to take our time around whatever it is we are intending with this new moon energy, to think quite clearly about what we're trying to manifest, what we're trying to bring in. because we've still got this tough angle from Pluto in Capricorn, retrograde Pluto, and that's to Mars and Aries, that Mars is conjunct. So we need to use that Saturnian energy, steadying energy, to avoid any kind of knee-jerk decisions. The new moon really is quite closely linked with the full moon we had in Sagittarius from 2 weeks ago, because that really brought to the surface and exposed challenging truths, whether that is for you personally on an inner level. You might have understood things about yourself that are kind of have not been particularly conscious before. And in terms of the planet, then it's very much about what is being exposed on the world stage, whether that's politically or in some of the troubled areas like what's going on in Eastern Europe. But I do feel that this new moon is imploring us through the people to connect to our feelings, to start afresh with negotiating for peace in the troubled areas that we've got. And because of this Mars conjunct Eris in Aries, squaring Pluto, we might see more people taking to the streets, riotous behaviour. But I don't think it's riotous behaviour for fun. I think it's angry, riotous behaviour. So this is because people don't feel heard. So it's very important to take time to think this month, or with this new moon, to think things through before we act. The new can come, but there has to be a space for healing before we can get to the new. And I do feel this Neptune retrograde is showing up any deceptive energies, secrets and lies that can be exposed. But for us personally, it's about emotional healing, personal inner healing, and choosing to communicate sensitively, with deliberate thought, with ourselves and with others. Because not only can we help to heal ourselves, but by sending out this positive healing to the planet, especially to those troubled areas of the world. You know, Jupiter's expansive energies conjunct Chiron really does give this new moon a true opportunity to forge new beginnings. And I think also the Neptune in Pisces retrograde is asking us to be honest with ourselves. Because new growth for all of us can only happen when we face what lies deep within. So a final thought before I go on to your individual sun signs and rising signs. It's so important to be kind to ourselves and treat ourselves with the nurturing healing that we all need. This new moon suggests an opportunity for some good mothering of our own inner child. Don't forget, that inner child really needs you. So give that inner child that love. You know, we can be so horrible to ourselves, can't we? Now let's move on to your individual star signs and ascendant rising sign, starting with Aries. So let's see how this new moon energy is going to affect you. Well, it's in Cancer, and it's in the part of your chart that is actually to do with things from the past, with ancestry, with family, with roots, and with the home. So some of you maybe thinking back to the past. And maybe you're looking at what you can bring from the past into the present that would be very beneficial to you. You know, this Jupiter angle, which of course is in your sign, in Aries, making this hard angle, I think you have to be careful, Aries, that you don't kind of get too wound up about things which are out of your control, to do with family members or anything within the family. So just try and take it easy with this new moon. Try and attend to that inner self, that inner part of you that needs that nurturing. You know, Aries, you're not always very good at nurturing yourself because you're kind of out there rushing around, enjoying everything that's new and wonderful and exciting. And I think this new moon for you is time to just pause and reflect. Okay, so now let's move on to Taurus. Taurus. This is about how you communicate. Do you sometimes get a little bit too impatient with people that you don't think are quite seeing your point? And it's giving you the opportunity to really kind of do a little bit of inner reflection, because that Jupiter energy is in that part of your chart to do with that inner self, your inner world. So it's giving you a chance to do a little bit of inner reflection and look at how you could actually change the way you communicate to soften it, to make it a little bit rounder, more intuitive, less kind of strident. And, you know, everyone can't always see things, Taurus, the way you do. It doesn't mean they're wrong, it just means they see things differently. So bear that in mind. Okay, so let's look at for you, Gemini. Well, it's in the part of your chart that is to do with your financial situation. It's also about value, self-worth. And I just get a feeling that this new moon could sing, maybe you're going to sing. This new moon could see some nice energy coming in around something that you've been trying to get going for some time, because that Jupiter energy is in the part of your chart to do with your hopes and wishes and that kind of higher vibration of what you really would really like to bring into your life. And remember, this new moon is in the house of finance for you. Use your intuition, Gemini, because I think you could be spot on about a business opportunity or something that could bring you in a little bit more cash. So just be mindful of that. And now, of course, we come to Cancer. And Cancer, of course, this is your new moon. And I think that for this new moon, you are going to be feeling a little bit stretched, a bit stressed, because that Jupiter energy, I think you've got pressures at work. You've got just, it's like you haven't got enough time or energy for all the things you've got to do for others, let alone the things you actually want to do for yourself, Cancer. So maybe this new moon is actually advising you to try and see if you can just get a better balance so that you afford yourself the same kind of nurturing and caring that you show to others. Okay, let's move on to Leo. Leo. Well, this new moon is very much about what's going on in that inner you. There's there's something about things that you're discovering. You're discovering energies and you're discovering information about yourself that has been quite difficult to kind of cope with, and part of you would like to just go away and hide and just keep that private, hidden to yourself. But I think this new moon is urging you to just move forward, to actually come out of yourself a bit, to come out of your shell, which Leo you can get into with your inner self. Because Leo, you're so proud. And I think it's hard for you when you start to recognize the parts of you that are flawed. And Leo, there's nothing wrong with that. We all have flawed parts. Just trust it, go with it, and just be with it. Let's move on to Virgo. Virgo, new ideas, new projects. You've got some really good ideas about what you want to start doing for the next part of the year, for the next kind of half of the year. And you want to get going and move and get them done now. I think, Virgo, for somebody that overthinks, which you do, you are the sign that is so good at overthinking and worrying. Gemini are pretty good at that as well, but you're pretty good at that, Virgo, because you add in a touch of the anxiety. But just being sensible for a minute, strange for me, this new moon is saying, follow your intuition. You don't always, you try and overthink it. Follow your intuition about what it is, where it is you should be focusing your energies on. And then go with it. Okay, let's move on to Libra, our balanced scales. Libra, some opportunities for you with this new moon to perhaps explore a new career path or a new career direction. It may be something you've been thinking about for some time. If you're not working, or you're retired, or you just, choose not to work, some people do, this new moon will be about things that you're totally passionate about. And there may be some secret passion that you've been thinking about and toying with about getting more involved with. And so this is lovely energy to actually do that. Just make sure you've done your budgeting, because you don't want any shocks with how much this new venture might be costing. Now let's move on to Scorpio. Scorpio. So for you, the new moon is in the part of the chart that's to do with travel. I think that you have reached a point with a lot of the events that have been going on in your life where you really would like to spread your wings a bit. You would like to just move away from the current kind of energies that have been holding you back and keeping you quite restricted. And I think this new moon is giving you the opportunity to look at, either you make a literal journey, you find a way to actually go somewhere, and even if it's just a day trip somewhere where you can kind of just connect with you, actually connect with the moon, sit and look up at the stars and see how small we are in comparison to the energy of the cosmos. I think that would free you up. You need to get back in touch with the bigger picture, Scorpio. So try and do that with this new moon energy. Now, let's move on to Sagittarius. So for you, Sagittarius, this is in the part of your chart that is to do with transformation. I think there are changes you really want to bring into your life in general. I think this is about endings and beginnings in quite a big way for you. it's something about, it may be as simple as, or not as simple, as complicated as, if you have children, it might be about one of your youngsters wanting to leave home and starting out on a new path, a new life, and the difficulty that comes with the letting go. But also, of course, Sagittarius, you do have such wonderful, spontaneous energy that I think that for all the reticence you might have about letting someone or something go, there may just be something you have to let go of for the new to come in. Because remember, the new can't come in until we've let go of the old. So, Capricorn, let's have a look at what this is for you. Capricorn, if you're single and looking, this could bring into your life a new relationship. And it would be very warm, very loving, and very nurturing. But if you're already in a significantly good, positive relationship, then it could be that you just have some quality time together and maybe do some new things together, different things, to bring in a little bit of sort of variety to life when it can get quite monotonous at times. The other thing about this energy is that if you have a relationship that is not doing so well, maybe it's about looking at how you can actually shift your focus and find a new way of relating to each other, a new way of caring for each other. And sometimes that can make all the difference in the world. Aquarius. This, for you, Aquarius, is about your kind of working routine. If you've recently taken up a new position or you've started a new job, then this shows it opening up, and it shows you getting your kind of routine in order and actually feeling very comfortable and warm about the way things are unfolding. It really is a very nice energy for you, Aquarius. I think you're just going to be feeling that there's new opportunities as well for any health issues that you may have had, even though they might have flared up of late. Then actually what this new moon energy is doing is giving you a chance to actually just begin again with perhaps a new health regime that would really, really benefit you. Okay, and now we finally come on to my lovely fishes, my oceans of emotions, my lovely Pisceans. Pisces. Well, Pisces, what are you going to get up to with this new moon? Is there new romance on the cards? Is there new partying and new fun and new creative endeavors, new artistic sort of aspirations that you might have? It's certainly going to be an interesting new moon for you. I think in any of those departments, you could see something new coming in and positive. I think you just have to watch for that sort of difficult, challenging energy from Jupiter that, remember, can expand what's not so good as well as what is good. So I think it's also about this side to you, Pisces, where you can burn the candle at both ends, and you really can allow yourself to have no limits when fun is to be had, and that can be partying, drinking, alcohol, things we're not supposed to take, any of those things, overeating. So be mindful of that with this energy, Pisces, because you don't want to be gaining any extra pounds. So thank you all of you for coming to listen to your energies for the new moon in Cancer, which is 28th, 29th of June. And please remember to like, comment and subscribe. and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.